Welcome everybody to Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall. This is the Doghouse Racing League Tuesday Night Truck Series here on iRacing, and tonight they are taking on Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is not the new and updated Atlanta. This is what would be the legacy or old Atlanta. So not quite a super speedway, very rough on the tires, and we're going to see these drivers slip sliding around all race long. Currently up at the top of the boards, no surprise here, Jonathan Jennings. Ricky Hudges is second, though close behind in second. Christopher Simon third. Justin McMahon and Adam Gardner, your top five on the speed charts right now. We've got about 3 minutes before we get qualifying underway here at Atlanta. We want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. And hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. We got a great truck doubleheader for you here tonight. Got first off the Doghouse Racing League taking on Atlanta, and then we'll be moving over to Talladega Super Speedway for the SCSRA Morris Customs Truck Series, which will be taking on again Talladega in the first race of the round of 8. But before we do that, let's settle it here tonight and take a look at our points coming into tonight. We see Kevin O'Powell currently up at the top of the leaderboard. Adam Gardner sits back in second. Jonathan Jennings in third. Mike Samia back in fourth. And Justin McMahon in the fifth position. We'll leave that on the screen for a moment so you can find where your favorite driver is running currently in the point standings. So again, Atlanta Motor Speedway, mile-and-a-half racetrack. Let's take a look at the weather so we can see what these drivers will be dealing with here tonight. 88 degrees is the air temperature. 95 degrees is the track temperature in overcast conditions. So the track won't be heating up due to the sun. It will be heating up to these drivers being on the track. And watch for, again, these drivers. These tires will wear out incredibly fast here tonight. So most of these drivers slip sliding all over the racetrack, which is going to make for some exciting racing as we go 72 laps here in hot Atlanta. See the 44 of Mike Samia back here, currently running 7th on the speeds charts. Not too far behind our leaders there. Johnson Currently in the 18th position, but getting some practice out on track, doing a little bit of drafting, and you'll see that tonight here as well. Drafting is going to be key, even though it is a 1.5 mile racetrack. While they get some time in the draft, these drivers will be almost full throttle all the way around here. They will have to lift getting into turn number 1. It's just going to be a slight lift. Yeah, I'm working that throttle there just enough to get those rear tires set as they come off of turn number 2. And turns 3 and 4. Okay, it's not a huge lift, not off the throttle for an incredibly long time, but enough to really get that truck planted in the corner. And we'll see that all night long. When the tires start to wear out, these drivers will not be able to hold it full throttle like they are right now. But they will be able to hold full throttle during qualifying, as the tires will be nice and fresh. We'll try to get as much as they can. So as we get ready to get qualifying underway, of course, we want to thank everybody again for showing up here tonight. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on iRacing on Intensity Broadcasting. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Also, don't forget to check out our great partners down below, including Race EPI for all your iRacing setups and coaching needs. Visit raceepi.com, as well as IntensityBroadcasting.com for all your iRacing or Intensity merchandise and novelty t-shirts. Check out IntensityBroadcasting.com. And lastly, of course, we can't forget about our great partners over at Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is an established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. Patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The new Gaming Haptic Gamer Plus lets users feel immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. Check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one's right for you. Visit thebuttkicker.com. And we got our first drivers out on track right now. We see Daniel Wilkerson in that 78 machine. We see a little shadow under that truck. The sun just trying to peek out here. He makes his way down into turns 3 and 4. Down across the stripe, and I'll move him up into the 3rd position. Jonathan Jennings coming down the backstretch towards turn number 3. Currently up at the top of the board. He's able to get that truck right down to that white line as he comes off of turn number 4 and towards the start-finish line. Jennings is going to stay up on that top spot. Christopher Simon just went P2, and Mike Samia just went P2 on his first lap. Let's see if he's got anything for these boys as he comes down the backstretch towards turns 3 and 4. You know, Wilkerson just knocked Samia back into the 3rd position. You see that 44 right on that white line through turns 3 and 4. That says using as much of the racetrack as he can as he comes across the stripe. And Samia's going to stay currently in the 4th position. See Marshall Johnson out on track. Gary Clune out on track as well. You can see just how tight this leaderboard is. Marshall Johnson comes down across the stripe. And his first lap is going to move him up into the 15th position. Gary Clune coming through turns 3 and 4. Brings his Geico truck down across the stripe. And he's going to jump up into the 14th position. Here comes Marshall Johnson through 3 and 4 this time. And down across the stripe. And that 31 machine will go. 2nd fastest. What a lap out of Marshall Johnson. Was running back in the 18th place in practice and brings that truck up to the top of the leaderboard, currently outside of the front row, as we have Michael Dow just making his way out onto the racetrack. Down across the stripe, and Dow is going to go up into... Oh, I take that back. He just took the green flag. I thought he was on the second lap there, but that was his green flag. One other driver left to qualify, and that is the 81 of Chuck Cobb. And Dow is going to move up into the 19th position on his first lap. Right down on that white line through turns 1 and 2. And that's going to do it for qualifying. So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get his full qualifying attempt in. But here is your starting lineup. I apologize, way too many things came on the screen at once. We see Jonathan Jennings up at the top of the board. He is going to be your pulsator tonight with Marshall Johnson, his outside in position number 2. Dale Wilkerson rolls off from the 3rd position with Mike Leftwich, his outside in P4. Then row 3 will find Mike Samia and Christopher Simon. Row 4, Kevin Brown and Justin McMahon, followed by Eddie Rivers and Gary Amio. And then Ricky Hudges the 2nd and Adam Gardner round out row number 6. Row 7 will be the 45 of Brad Hall with Kevin Powell to his outside in the 93 machine. Then Gary Clune from the 15th position and Tyler Millette rolling off from 16th. Jeffrey Wimmer in 17th. Steve Gerber in the 8 machine. He'll roll off from the 18th position with Michael Dow rolling off 19th. Ricky Williams in 20th, and Chuck Cobb will be your final qualifier here tonight at Atlanta. 72 laps is the distance here tonight. Again, watch this one to be wild as the tires wear off incredibly fast at this racetrack. And we'll be seeing that all night long. Who's going to have the fastest truck and who's going to be able to keep those tires underneath them. I think that's going to be the most important part of this whole ordeal. Just waiting for the field to grid up so we can make our pace lap and get this race underway. Again, don't forget to join us after this one's over. If you like Super Speedway racing, as the SCSRA Truck Series will be taking on Talladega Motor Speedway in their first race of the round of 8. So you're not going to want to miss that. And then next week, we're going to move down to the short track racing. We're going to move over to Iowa Speedway. And then we'll have a week off after that. So join us here, right here, same time, as always, for the Doghouse Racing League Tuesday Night Truck Series. Trucks are down and rolling, getting ready to bring you the action here on Intensity Broadcasting. So as we get ready, the pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn down onto pit road. And Jonathan Jennings is going to lead him down to the green flag. He's going to have Daniel Wilkerson right there on the back bumper, trying to give him a push down into turn number 1. Green flag is in the air. And we are racing here at Atlanta, and already we've got some jostling around here in the middle, and already one around. Ricky Hudges having some issues. He is back down on the pit road as the field makes their way off of turn number 2 for the first time, and caution is out. Looks like Gary Amio having some issues as well. That's going to bring out our first wreckage rewind of the night as we take a look to see exactly what happened between, I think this might have involved Ricky Hudges as well. We'll take a look here. Oh, Mio just spun the tires on the start. Comes down, collects Ricky Hudges. Ricky had nowheres to go. Able to get down off the racetrack, and that is what brings out our first caution of the night. And remember, the Doghouse Racing League does not have resets, so any damage accrued during the race, these drivers will have to try to get fixed up on pit road. And usually that's something we see on restarts, not so much on the initial start. You see drivers spin the tires. We were talking about the overcast earlier. We see those shadows coming off the trucks now. We take a look at our weather now, and still overcast, but track temperature 94 degrees. The air temperature still 88, but I expect to see that starting to heat up as the sun peeks through the clouds and beats down on this old asphalt surface. Across the line this time, the lights on the pace car will be going out. We're going to go back to green flag racing. James going to choose the inside lane on this restart. Oh, lights on the pace car stay on for one more lap, so we'll go at least one more lap to get things sorted out before we get back racing here at Atlanta. So again, next week we move on to Iowa Speedway for some short track racing. Iowa, a very unique track. It has some character, has some bumps, makes the racing surface incredibly tough to get hooked up to at points. Always offers some great racing. So we look forward to the race at Iowa next week. Looks like we're going to go green flag racing on the after the next lap. So lights on the pace car, excuse me, getting ready to shut off. In iRacing news, there was a screenshot posted not too long ago for those who enjoy road racing and a little more accuracy and simulation, showing the weather forecast for said event, including rain showers on and off. So look forward to that, especially on the longer races or races like the 24 Hours of Daytona, where rain might come into the mix in the middle of the night. That would be a blast as well. So I can't wait for all the great new features that iRacing is going to be implementing in the next coming build. And I know rain's been on the radar for a long time. And one thing I'd love for them to implement as well is the choose cone here in the NASCAR series, where the drivers can choose which lane they want to restart in. But here we go. Lights on the pace car off. We're re-racked, restacked, getting ready to refire. Jennings back on the low side. Marshall Johnson up on the high side. Bill Wilkerson and Michael Samia back in row number 2. And Mike Leftwich and Christopher Simon back in row number 3. We come down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. We are back racing. A great jump for Jonathan Jennings. He's immediately back out in front by a couple car lengths. Marshall Johnson under attack from the 78 of Daniel Wilkerson as they go down to turn number 1. Johnson's able to clear the 78 machine. Meanwhile, a little further back, we see Steve Gerber looking down to the inside of Adam Gardner. Justin McMahon right there in the mix as well. And the 94 of Tyler Millette right behind Gardner as they come off of turn number 4 and down to the stripe. And we complete our first lap of racing. The 31 of Marshall Johnson trying to run down the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. We know Jennings is really good at saving his equipment, saving his tires for the end of the run. And right now, I think Johnson might be trying to push the envelope a little too early. As he runs it right on the back bumper. A little further back, we see Brad Hall in the 45 getting passed by Michael Dow on the low side. As he tries to work that 45 machine down to the bottom. As the low lane is the preferred lane right in front, we see Ricky Williams under attack from the 50 of Dow. Great side-by-side racing as the field makes their way across the stripe. And Brad Hall doing a little push to Dow down the front stretch. Meanwhile, up front, a little further up, we see Justin McMahon starting to pull away from Steve Gerber just a little bit. Gerber gets a great run down into the corner, but McMahon's able to get off the corner just a little bit better and separate from the 8 machine. As I say that, the 8 of Gerber goes right there onto the back bumper. While that's going on, we got a battle shaping up for the lead as Marshall Johnson continues to try to find his way around Jonathan Jennings and Daniel Wilkerson right back into this mix as well. Our top 3 cars nose to tail. And a little separation back to Samia back and forth. Cam Gardner getting passed by both Justin McMahon and Steve Gerber. He's in danger of losing another position. Oh, as he catches the wall, that's going to allow Tyler Millette and Ricky Williams to go right on by. Don't know how much damage there is to that 56 machine, but he was up into the wall pretty hard as Ricky Williams now trying to make a move down underneath Tyler Millette to try to take that 9th position away. They're side by side down into turns 1 and 2. Millette, though, up on that high side, able to keep that momentum, keeping him rolling forward, and he's going to stay out in front of Ricky Williams. Meanwhile, the 8 and the 20 continue to run nose to tail. Steve Gerber's trying to do everything he can to get around that 20 machine. Mike Samia going around the 78 of Daniel Wilkerson, move him up into the 3rd position. We start to see some of these drivers really starting to fall off on their lap times due to these tires wearing out ever so quickly. See Christopher Simon running back in the 5th spot. He's got Mike Leftwich right behind. And then behind them we see this battle continuing between Gerber, McMahon, and Millette. And Ricky Williams right there in the mix as well, as that 3-car train is trying to catch the 60 of Mike Leftwich. You see one driver in the back get a little bit loose off the corner. I believe that was the 73 Jeffrey Wimmer. It was. Already struggling for a little bit of grip. Some of these drivers already fallen off a second on lap times since the start of the race. Great battles all over the track. We see Kevin Powell trying to work his way around the 50 of Michael Dow. Also a couple of really big movers, both Steve Gerber and Ricky Williams, both up 10 spots from where they started. Tyler Millette up 7 spots from where he started, and Michael Dow, who runs in the 13th position, currently up 6 spots from where he started. Leftwich under fire from McMahon. They make their way off of turn number 4. McMahon's going to look up to the high side, almost opens the door for Gerber. Going to shut that door though on that 8 machine and try to take a look down to the inside of Leftwich this time. And a lot of times you see that high lane prevail, allowing for momentum off the corner, but here in Atlanta, that low lane is really the preferred line. I see McMahon drive down to the bottom to get underneath Leftwich. Try to take that position away. Steve Gerber tries to follow McMahon right through as well. Leftwich really putting up a fight though up on that high side. McMahon finally able to clear that 60 machine. Here comes Gerber down to the inside, almost pushes up the track a little bit, catches a little bit of the apron. That upsets that 8 machine, pushes him up the tracks a little bit. Oh, almost gets into the back of Mike Leftwich, but able to hold on to that machine. He's going to try to use that high lane to try to get some momentum on Mike Leftwich. Meanwhile, a little further back, you see Ricky Williams trying to work around Tyler Millette. He works down to the inside lane. See Adam Gardner right back there as well. Gardner, we saw him up in the wall just a few laps ago. He's continuing to move himself forward after that incident. Great battles all over the track right now. Right now, the biggest battle is these 5 cars as they make their way down the backstretch. Up front, it's all Jonathan Jennings. He's led since the drop of the green flag. Currently has almost a 1-second lead over second place Marshall Johnson. And Michael Samia trying to run down that 31 machine. Daniel Wilkerson running back in 4th. And Christopher Simon back in that 5th spot. There's Steve Gerber trying to get around the 60 of Mike Leftwich as Justin McMahon is checked out from this group now. McMahon is pulled away by a second from these two as they run side by side. Right behind them, Adam Gardner and Tyler Millette side by side. And Kevin Powell right there in the mix as well. As we see the 8 of Steve Gerber lock him up coming into pit road. He's the first truck to make his way down on the pit road. We know it's going to be a 2-stop race. Wonder if that will start bringing in the rest of the leaders. Jonathan Jennings continue to lead. Looks like the rest of the field passing by pit road this time as Gerber's going to go a lap down on pit road. There's Jonathan Jennings trying to rebound from last week. Fortunately for him, he was caught up in a lap 1 incident that took him out of the race. He's trying to redeem himself with a win here tonight at Atlanta. Eddie Rivers, the next driver, makes his way down on the pit road. Here comes Jonathan Jennings. He's slowing down to make his way down on the pit road. Marshall Johnson also coming down on the pit road. Daniel Wilkerson, Kevin Powell. Kevin Brown on pit road as well. We see a lot of damage to the side of the Brown machine. We saw Eddie Rivers is just leaving pit road. Mike Samia is going to take over the lead here as he slows down for pit road, along with Christopher Simon coming down on the pit road as well. We see Jonathan Jennings, Marshall Johnson all coming off of pit road, Daniel Wilkerson off of pit road. And that puts the 20 of Justin McMahon to the lead of this race. Here comes McMahon down on the pit road this time. So they'll give up the lead to the 56 of Adam Gardner. As McMahon makes his way down to his pit stall, Mike Leftwich just peeling off of pit road. So is it Gary Amio. We know Adam Gardner knows how to save fuel. I don't know how long he's going to stay out there as those tires are giving up so much speed right now being out there by himself. Michael Dow just hitting pit road, so 4 drivers left the pit. 2 of the drivers came in on the lap 3 caution. So that was Brad Hall and Gary Clune who run back 3rd and 4th. Here comes Adam Gardner down on the pit road. Ricky Williams, though, going to stay out. And Ricky Williams is going to lead a lap here to get a bonus point. Now just 3 drivers left to pit. As here comes, I think Williams is going to be pitting this time. No, he's going to stay out one more lap. See the 45 Brad Hall getting passed by Justin McMahon. Those fresh tires coming into play right there. You can see just how much quicker fresh tires are. As your leader, Ricky Williams, comes down, and some issues for Adam Gardner running through the grass here. So you can see exactly what happened to the 56, trying to get on track, and just accelerates a little too quickly as Ricky Williams now down on the pit road. And that's going to give the lead over to the 45 of Brad Hall. Gary Clune also on pit road. And to put into perspective the lap time differences, that time by Brad Hall ran a 33.7. Jonathan Jennings, who's going to be the leader when this all cycles through, just ran a 31.6. As here comes Hall down onto pit road. No, he's going to stay out one more lap. I take that back. You can see the difference in speed between Hall on old tires and Jennings on fresh tires. As Hall passes pit road yet again. Like he's gambling a little bit, hoping for that caution to come out. They'll cycle him back around with some fresher tires, but right now he's losing a ton of time to Jonathan Jennings, who is 20 seconds behind. While he continues to lead, we've got a battle shaping up here. We see the 93 of Kevin Powell, Christopher Simon, Mike Samia, Tyler Millette, Mike Leftwich, all running in a group here. Brad Hall now finally makes his way down on the pit road, completing our green flag pit stop cycle. Come by the start-finish line this time, the flagman will show the crossed flags as we'll be halfway in the event with Jonathan Jennings currently out in front of Marshall Johnson by over 3.5 seconds. Dale Wilkerson running down that 31 machine currently. Back, Michael Smia all over the back of Christopher Simon, trying to take over. Would be the 6th position. Looks on the back bumper of Simon. Both Simon and Samia run up on the back bumper of the 93 of Kevin Powell. There's the 5th, 6th, and 7th all under a blanket right here. Tyler Millette right there in the mix as well. Dale Wilkerson now has Jesse McMahon all over the back bumper. McMahon's been solidly driving through the field. He's going to take a look down underneath the 78 machine. He's easily going to take over the 3rd position. He's going to set his sights on 31 of Marshall Johnson. we know everybody's going to have to come down pit road one more time. Just a matter of when they're going to make their way down on the pit road. I'm projecting somewhere between laps 52 and 60. There's these drivers wanting to have the freshest tires at the end of the race, as there goes Justin McMahon around Marshall Johnson. So move McMahon up into the second position. But he's almost 4.5 seconds behind Jonathan Jennings. So right now, Justin McMahon hoping for a caution to bring them all on even playing field. Further back, we see Christopher Simon right there on the back bumper of Kevin Powell. Samia right there. And Millette, these four drivers just cannot get away from each other right now. As they come down across the line to start lap number 43. Great battles all over the track right now, up at the front. McMahon continuing to try to run down Jonathan Jennings. That is a 3.5 second gap still. Last time by, McMahon was just a little bit quicker though. That was the first lap in the last 5 where McMahon was quicker. You can see just how close the time is, especially on lap 40. Just 1,000th separating those drivers. And this time by McMahon, again, just a little bit quicker. We have our first taker down onto pit road. That is the 8 of Steve Gerber, who pit early on the first run, pits early again on this second run. And there we see Jonathan Jennings coming down into turn number 3, and there's your second place driver, McMahon. That is the distance on the racetrack between those two trucks. You see Christopher Simon still trying to find his way around the 93 of Kevin Powell, but just is not able to get it done. Ricky Williams and Adam Gardner side by side. This is a battle for the 10th position. Gardner holding on up on that high side right now. Williams just not able to get the power down to get around that 56 machine. Looks like this time Williams should be able to clear the 56, and he will. We have just 25 laps to go. And that interval up front, well, it's now down below 4 seconds. 3.8 seconds separates Jonathan Jennings and Justin McMahon. Brad Hall locks him up getting down on the pit road. He's able to get down the pit road speed. You see the way those that yellow bars kind of make a step ladder or steps there. The more that line shrinks, the closer McMahon is getting to Jonathan Jennings, and you can see that interval continuing to shrink as it's almost 3.5 seconds. Eddie Rivers makes his way down on the pit road. We're coming to 22 laps to go. More drivers down on the pit road. See Daniel Wilkerson on pit road, Kevin Powell, Tyler Millette, all making their way down for their tires in service. And here comes our leader, Jonathan Jennings, down on the pit road. Able to get it low down. That's going to give the lead to Justin McMahon. Now McMahon's got to do what he can. To push here. 2 laps later on the first run than Jennings. See more drivers on pit road as well now. Samia on pit road. Christopher Simon made his way down the pit road. Adam Gardner. Jeffrey Wimmer. Here comes McMahon this time. He's going to give the lead of the race over to Marshall Johnson with just 20 laps to go. This time by Marshall Johnson. Going to pass pit road. Let's see what Mike Leftwich does here. He's also going to go right on by pit road. Williams does as well. Michael Dow. Looks like he's going to stay out on the racetrack. And Justin McMahon has made up a ton of time on Jonathan Jennings as McMahon is now just 3.5 seconds behind that 91 machine. As here goes Jennings around the 31 to get his lap back. Ricky Williams down onto pit road. Kevin Brown also making his way down onto pit road. Here comes your leader, Marshall Johnson, down on the pit road as well. That's going to give the lead of the race to Mike Leftwich. Some of these drivers you might try to really stay out and stretch it here. Drivers like Leftwich and Michael Dow, who really have nothing to lose, as they see Kevin Powell going around the outside of Leftwich. They hope they might be able to catch a caution here. So here's Jennings, and you see that time delta. See the difference there where Jennings came on the pit road, but the last couple laps, McMahon starting to close that gap with 15 laps to go. Mike Leftwich, Michael Dow both made their way down on the pit road. That's going to give the lead of the race back to Jonathan Jennings. continues that interval again. It was catching up to the drivers that were on pit road. So there you have it, the lead between Jennings and McMahon right at 3 seconds. A little further back, we see Christopher Simon and Daniel Wilkerson. This is a battle for the final podium spot. The 78 machine currently up in the top 3. A little further back, we see Samia working his way around the 8 of Steve Gerber. Move the 44 machine up into the 9th spot. And continues to hold off Christopher Simon for now. Simon knows he's going to get a run up on the high side as they go towards turn number 1, but Wilkerson's going to have that low lane advantage as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. And for the time being, he's going to keep himself out in front of the 35. He's going to try to cross him over here down the backstretch. They're side by side going down into turn number 3. This is a battle again for the 3rd spot. Simon able to get around Wilkerson, move himself up into the top 3. And with that, we have just 12 laps to go. Now that interval's been kind of flattened out now. 20 has stalled out a little bit. You see that interval is still right at 3 seconds. And McMahon has not been able to do anything to... In fact, you see just how close those lap times are between the 91 and the 20. Jennings has really turned on the afterburners the last few laps. He knows McMahon is pushing hard, trying to get that position back. Well, further back, you see Wilkerson still trying to race with Simons, trying to stay right there with him. See if he can get himself back onto the podium. With just 10 laps to go. Justin McMahon runs back in the 2nd position, just under 3 seconds behind Jonathan Jennings. Praying for a caution right now to get himself back into this one. Is actually right now he's starting to catch Jonathan Jennings again. You see the last 2 laps, he's been a 10th faster each lap. But is there enough time for McMahon to catch the 91? Another 10th taken off that interval now, off that lead. Puts him just 2.5 seconds behind. But with 8 laps to go, it's going to take a miracle to get him back to the 91. It's one thing to catch him. It's totally another story to pass him. Mio having some issues. He is slow down on the bottom of the racetrack. Does not look like the caution is going to come out. No, we're going to stay green. Let's take a look to see what happened here. And looks like he just caught the wall. And fortunately for him, that's going to end his night. That was the caution that McMahon was hoping for. We have 6 laps to go. Jonathan Jennings, after having bad luck last race, getting taken out on lap number 1. Minus pit cycles, he's led every lap of this race. We have just 5 laps to go. Jonathan Jennings trying to close the deal here and get his 2nd win of the season. Justin McMahon now 2.3 seconds behind the 91 with just 4 laps to go. So unless something devastating happens to Jennings, Jennings can just pretty much run in cruise control. 33 of Kevin Brown behind Jennings. This is exactly what Jonathan Jennings wants to see. Clean racetrack out in front as we have 3 laps to go. Tyler Millette trying to run down Marshall Johnson, trying to take over that 6th position. Across the stripe, just 2 laps to go for Jonathan Jennings. Three miles left in this event for Jennings as he comes down off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Still has a 2-second buffer over 2nd place Justin McMahon. Off of turn number 4, white flag will be in the air. Just 1 more lap to go. Yellow flag has been put away. Again, Jennings just needs 4 good corners to claim his 2nd race win of the season. Kevin Brown right behind. That is a lap truck just trying to ride in the wake here. Off of turn number 4, Jonathan Jennings is going to come down to the stripe and he is going to get his 2nd win of the season in dominating fashion here at Atlanta. Justin McMahon going to bring it home in P number 2. And Christopher Simon rounds out your podium here tonight, but it's all about the 91 of Jonathan Jennings getting the win, again in dominating fashion here at Atlanta. A little celebratory contact between him and McMahon almost wipes them both out. As Jennings comes down to the start-finish line where he's going to celebrate his victory here tonight. Burns it down right here on the front stretch. And burns it down all the way down the front stretch as well. Look at that burnout. That's impressive. As it sounds like the motor just, no, that wasn't his motor that just expired. He's continuing that burnout. How much can those tires take? What a great celebration. That was incredible. As we take a look at our results, Jonathan Jennings again gets the win. Justin McMahon comes home P2. Christopher Simon back in third. Daniel Wilkerson fourth. Kevin Powell in the fifth spot. Marshall Johnson brings it home in sixth. Tyler Millette, Adam Gardner, Ricky Williams, and Mike Samia round out your top 10. Mike Leftwich comes home 11th. Steve Gerber back in 12th. Jeffrey Wimmer, Michael Dow, and Eddie Rivers, your top 15. Kevin Brown in 16th. Gary Clune 17th. Brad Hall falls back to 18th. Gary Amio back in 19th. Ricky Hudges and Chuck Cobb round out the field here tonight at Atlanta. As we get ready to talk to our top three, starting with our third place finisher, Christopher Simon. Christopher, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Coming home P3, battling with Daniel Wilkerson for that top spot there, or that final podium spot there with a few laps to go. Had a lot of late run speed, and that seemed to be the key, was keeping the tires on it and having that late run speed. What were you able to do to keep that speed in the longer run that the other drivers just weren't able to do?
Yeah, it's basically it's keeping the tires like not too worn out. I was just lifting off of the throttle in the turns right there, not using too much of the throttle there. That's basically how I got it done there.
For sure. And again, started back in the sixth position, worked your way through the field, had that early caution there, and then we had green flag pit stops. Were you kind of surprised that we didn't have more cautions there? Because especially with Atlanta being really, really slick there on older tires.
Yeah, I was surprised when we got the first caution there, but since this league doesn't really have that much cautions in the speedways, I wasn't really much surprised if we did get more, but I was just surprised at the first one.
Well, next week we move on to Iowa, a little short track racing. How do you like your chances next week?
I'm not too familiar with that track as much, so I'm gonna be practicing for that track next week.
Well, again, awesome job with the top three here tonight, Christopher. Before we let you go, though, anyone you want to thank? Any shout-outs you got to give here tonight?
I want to shout out to my family watching right now. I want to shout out to Shoney's for sponsoring this league and letting me be part of the race team. And I want to thank Daniel for having this league, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
Awesome, man. Well, again, we appreciate the kind words, and good luck next week at Iowa. We hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
That was your third place finisher, Christopher Simon. Let's bring in your second place finisher, Justin McMahon. Justin, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I do.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Coming from the mid-pack, get your way back up to the front. You were running down Jonathan Jennings there at the end, but just ran out of time. I'm sure in the back of your mind you were hoping for a caution there to try to even things up a little bit. But, man, that late run speed that you had just came out of nowhere. So what were you able to do differently to try to run him down there at the end? And was he just trying to back off, do you think, a little bit, or were you just pushing that hard?
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of in the middle of trying to save tires to have enough to be able to race them if I did catch them, but tire conservation was so big here tonight. I don't know. I knew that if I pitted a lap or two after him, I'd have, a lap or two fresher tires than him. So I just had to conserve for at least another lap or two to help. That might help it out a little bit, but I knew at the end there with about 15 to go that I was really just going to have to try to push it as hard as I can to try to catch him, but just didn't have enough time. He had too big of a lead for me to gain, especially after pit stops and stuff that he had, throughout the race. So I don't know. It was just tough. My stuff was getting burnt out by there at the end. So I don't know. It was tough.
Well, it's like a tale of two races for you. The beginning of the race, you're kind of in that mid field there. You're running 5th through 9th in that pack, and really wasn't able to really get going. Did that kind of maybe hurt your momentum a little bit if you were able to clear them a little quicker? Maybe you had a chance there at the end?
Yeah, maybe. I wasn't really sure how the race was going to play out. Like I said, I was just trying to save my tires as much as possible. I might have saved a little too much there in that first run, so I think you're probably right. That probably did hurt me a little bit. I was debating on taking 2 tires at that last pit stop to try to gain a little bit on them, but I knew if that we had too many laps left there at the end to take 2 tires, and I knew that probably wasn't going to work out in the end for me. So I debated and ended up going with 4. But I don't know. He's too freaking good. So it's hard to. You got to try to roll the dice and try to go the opposite of what he's doing. But at the end of the day, I'll take a top 2. You know.
For sure. And next week we move on to Iowa, a little short track racing. How do you like your chances at the little short track?
About the same as here. That's also another one that's tire management. I like those short tracks, so hopefully we'll have a shot there.
Well, good luck next week at Iowa. Before we let you go, though, anyone you want to thank, any shouts you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast. Loud Pedal Racing, and congrats to Jonathan for the win, and Group 6 Interactive for the sponsor on the truck tonight.
Awesome, man. Well, again, good luck next week, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Have a great night.
You too.
So that was your second place finisher, Justin McMahon. Let's bring in your winner tonight here, Jonathan Jennings. Jonathan, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, great run for you here tonight. A totally different outcome from last week at Phoenix. We know you had some bad luck on the first lap, and what better way to redeem yourself than getting your second win of the season here tonight at Atlanta. You were able just to dominate and pull away. What were you able to do? It seemed like you were just out there rolling the corners a little easier than everybody else, and just was there something you were doing differently than everybody else, or were you just out there pushing as hard as you could?
I was trying to manage my tires the best I could and create a gap, and it let me play the rest of the race how I wanted to. So managing the tires is a big deal at Old Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure. And you were able to do exactly that. Coming down to the end, I'm sure you saw that your lead starting to shrink a little bit as McMahon was starting to run you down. I know there was not many laps left in the race, but even though we had the early race caution and everything went green, did that kind of click there in the back of your mind that we might have something, a yellow coming out there that would bring Justin right up to you?
Yeah, I was trying to manage my tires and kind of keep the gap from shrinking too much, and just in case of like race caution, because I needed something to pin him off with.
For sure. And next week we move on to the short track over at Iowa. How do you like your chances at the little one?
I always like short tracks. It's a little different than wide open.
That's for sure. Well, again, congratulations on your second win of the season, Jonathan. Before we let you go, anyone we want to thank, any shots you got to give here tonight?
You guys for the broadcast, Daniel and all the admins for putting these things together every week, and all my teammates.
Well, again, congrats on the win, and good luck next week at Iowa.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
So there you have it, your winner here tonight, Jonathan Jennings, again getting his second win of the season. Again, join us next week as the Doghouse Racing League takes on Iowa Speedway. But join us back here in about a half-hour time as the SCSRA Morse Customs Truck Series takes on Talladega in their first race of their round of 8. Again, thank you for watching, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Don't forget to check out our great partners down in the link below, including Race API for all your iRacing setups and coaching needs. IntensityBroadcasting.com for all your swag and novelty t-shirts, as well as The Butt Kicker for all your haptic needs. Check them out over at thebuttkicker.com. That's going to do it here for the Doghouse Racing League here on iRacing on Intensity Broadcast. And, of course, don't forget to join us next week. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.